Hello ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, and welcome back to another StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm beta cast. I tried to hide that as quickly as possible. Some of you guys might have seen it, but you know, I'm not gonna make it worse. Let's stop talking about it, but let's talk about the game we have at hand. This is gonna be a Protoss versus Protoss on the map Fractured Glacier. I hope I didn't completely butcher that name of the map. I'm still learning the new names of the maps, but yeah, this is going to be another Protoss versus Protoss. If you haven't checked out the other game, I did finish uploading another PvP between TT1 and some other guy. I think his name is like Colonel K or something like that. But this is going to be another Protoss versus Protoss. So let's introduce our players. We have spawning here towards the bottom side of the map. He is going to be our red Protoss player, 6 Spartan, who is root TT1. Spawning here towards the 11 o'clock-ish position, we have our blue Protoss, Mrs. Sauce. Okay, Mrs. Sauce. I like the name. There's a lot of S's. It might be a little bit hard to pronounce later on in the game. I'm going to go ahead and do my best to Mrs. Sauce, Mrs. Sauce, Mrs. Sauce. But this is going to be, in fact, it's GoSuDDE. DDE is a Terran player, of course, of part of the team. It's GoSu. Very high level Terran player, one of the top Terran players in North America, in my opinion, and just a guy that's overall very smart and very intelligent in his play. If you guys watch any kind of tournaments, online tournaments, he's the kind of guy that loves participating in playhems. He can play, I think he has participated in some Zotac Cups as well. But this is going to be an interesting game because DDE is not a Protoss player. He does not know the ins and outs and the timings and economy management of the Protoss race. He has been off racing a little bit in Heart of the Swarm, as he did in Wings of Liberty. And I'm going to go ahead and say that his PvP, I don't know anything about his PvP, but I'm going to say that his Protoss and his Zerg is probably around the mid to high Masters range. Definitely Masters, because I've seen a lot of games where he did some games on Wings of Liberty with Protoss and Zerg. But TT1, a pretty good player. Some guy who's, I guess you can say he's someone that's not really consistent. He can even say this himself. Very, very hard on himself, wanting to become a player. Said many times that he wants to be someone that's remembered in the StarCraft 2 community. So he's definitely a player that's putting in the time, putting in the effort to become one of the best players in the world. So we'll go ahead and see what TT1 is going to go ahead and show us in this game. So far, everything looking pretty damn standard. There's the gateway being chrono boosted, trying to get a stalker out on the map as quickly as possible. Cybernetics core has been up for TT1. He is actually going to start warp gate technology, and the reason why I'm saying that is because the last game that I casted, he chrono boosted the warp gate like 3-4 times, and he was not researching anything. So nice little funny thing going on there in that previous game. So he is actually, you know, aware this time that he is getting warp gate technology. And in the base of DDE, he's going for a pretty aggressive, not aggressive, but a pretty risky opening. Going Nexus first, then getting his Cybernetics core. Hasn't even started warp gate. Doesn't even have the gas for that. So maybe a little bit wrong on the timings here for DDE. Okay, so he opted to go for Mothership core before the warp gate. Interesting decision there from DDE. But TT1 gonna go ahead and pressure this, and this is kind of a cool new, I guess, something that's been added in Heart of the Swarm. What you can do is you have these destructible rocks, or just to give you the exact name, they're called the collapsible rock tower debris. You can kill that, gets you another rock there, and you're completely walled in. All you really have to do is worry about your opponent killing it, which is exactly what TT1's doing. And TT1's not going to be aggressive, or he's not looking to go for a one-base play from what I'm seeing. I mean, there's an expansion, so absolutely not. But TT1's being aggressive on the map. He's moving across the map with the Zealot, 2 Stalkers, chrono boosting as many units on the map as quickly as possible. Looks like now he's going to be up to 3 Stalkers, in fact. And the thing about the Mothership core that is so cool to use in PvP on these maps, particularly because they have these rocks, is it uses its ability, the Purify ability, which is kind of like a cannon. You just, you know, get it there, you defend it, and DDE should be fine to defend against this. I mean, TT1 is not overextending. He's not forcing himself to chrono boost warp gate, although his warp gate is just about to finish right now. He is expanding, double expanding, in fact. TT1 taking the natural as well as that third. But hold that thought. It looks like TT1 going to go ahead and put a little bit of more aggression here into the economy, or into the natural of DDE. DDE forced to pull a few probes. Not going to be too much damage here being done for DDE. In fact, DDE does a pretty damn good job of defending the early pressure here from TT1. So now what we have to look at is what is the follow-up going to be here for TT1? What tech is he really going to go ahead and commit himself to? It looks like it's going to be a robotics facility coming out from TT1. So, oh, okay, and a Twilight Council. Pretty cool. Pretty damn cool for TT1. So this might be a Blink Observer build coming out from TT1. Still a build that's very viable in Heart of the Swarm. This can be a pretty good map for Blink, as we see some Stalkers going on against some Stalkers. And yeah, I mean, I personally have some experience using the Blink Observer build even on this map. This is a really nice area to kind of blink into. Your natural is a little bit far away from your main base, not too far. But once you have vision up into the high ground here of your opponent's base, you can blink in, pick off some key buildings, and even that placement for the robotics facility for DDE can be picked off if TT1 decides to go ahead and use the Blink Observer into this area of the map. But we'll have to wait and see. So TT1's expansion has completed. This is basically going to be his natural expansion. This is going to be kind of his third. I guess you can say either way. This is natural, and this is his third. But Mothership Core is being started for TT1 as well as that Blink technology. So TT1 might be looking to go for a pretty... he can use Blink defensively or he can use it offensively. TT1 is probably a player that can be rather aggressive in PvP. He's not afraid to go for 3 base timings. He's not afraid to go for any kind of... you know, he's just not afraid to be on the map in the PvP matchup. But we're going to have to see what TT1's going to go ahead and do. It looks like DDE going to go ahead and move across the map with a pretty good army composition. Good amount of Stalkers. There's 1 Immortal, a few Zealots, and TT1 needs to prepare. So immediately starts another Immortal, which is about to finish here very quickly. DDE very much knows the composition of TT1. It looks like DDE going to go ahead and pressure this frontal expansion. Does not really want to overextend. Not a lot of units on the map for TT1, I will have to admit. But DDE has a good amount of Stalkers. Of course, these Immortals are going to be able to do a lot of damage. Mothership Core gets focused down right now for TT1. That's going to die. And, you know, DDE showing us some pretty good control. TT1, of course, showing us some good control as well. Forced to pull some probes off the mineral line, though. So he is definitely going to lose some Harvesters in this attack. As we look at the units lost tab very quickly, 14 units lost for TT1, 9 units lost for DDE. Back to the production tab. Blink is about to finish for Payam Toyam as we see 2 additional gateways being added. And you might even be able to pick off this Immortal. Pretty huge. Immortals are pretty damn slow. Really nice victory there for TT1. Will be able to, in fact, kill out the Immortal from DDE. But do not be fooled, guys. Harvester count is going to still be in the favor of TT1. 47 Harvesters. Now he's going to go up to 49 to 43. He is mining off of this 3 base. DDE does not have a 3rd base. DDE is still on 2 bases. Now he did expand faster, so his economy is okay. But TT1 is going to have definitely an advantage as Blink is going to go ahead and get revealed there for TT1. We'll be able to pick off a Stalker. But what is the tech that's going to be here for DDE? DDE is going to go ahead and Chrono Boost, or not really Chrono Boost, but he's going to get started on Blink himself. Moving across the map yet again. I don't know if this is going to be aggression or just to control the watchtowers. Units tab for DDE. We see 12 Stalkers, 2 Immortals. Charge is also being started for TT1. So he's going for this pretty gateway-centric army composition of Charge Lots and Stalkers. Blink Stalkers, that is. And that can be a very powerful army against Stalkers and Immortals. And DDE is going to have Blink, so it's going to be a battle of pretty much unit control from both players. But DDE sees everything. He has the Observer in position. Does TT1 even have an Observer on the map? Okay, TT1 does have an Observer on the map, but his army is getting very large and very scary. 114 supply for TT1. Upgrades still have not started for either player. I don't think either one even has a forge on the map. But, ooh, DDE, sneaky DDE. Okay, he's going to take a 3rd expansion, pretty damn hidden. So that's going to be pretty impossible for TT1 to scout unless he has, like, amazing map sense. But, ooh, that is actually huge. DDE picks off the Mothership Core from TT1. He's, in fact, going to go ahead and blink into the main. Some Zealots being warped in. TT1 going to go ahead and blink into the main base as well, focusing down some Stalkers. Probes getting pulled off the mineral line. DDE trying to do as much damage as possible, and he is in fact going to pick off a lot of Stalkers here from TT1. TT1 is going to go ahead and send the rest of his army, which consists of Zealots, Sentries, and Immortals, as TT1 and DDE showing us some pretty sick Blink control. But DDE, man, he has done some damage. I don't even think TT1 has a lot of Stalkers remaining on the map. Gonna have to force himself to send these units back into the main base, which is exactly what we're seeing. TT1 falling down to not many stalkers, only has 2 stalkers on the map. And DDE now gonna tell himself, you know what? I did my damage, I'm gonna blink out of there. And look at the way DDE is using the map. He is blinking right into the 3rd and nothing is there for TT1. Focusing down some probes. TT1 still has a supply advantage. In fact, still has a, doesn't have a harvester advantage. But, in that engagement, TT1 lost a lot. Now DDE is going to have a supply advantage. Actually, not a supply advantage. He's going to have a harvester advantage. 53 probes compared to the 51 probes of TT1. DDE's tech is going to be a little bit more superior compared to TT1, as we see that there's a Colossi being chrono boosted. But the thing is, charge lots, stalkers, blink stalkers that is extremely hard to deal with if you do not have any kind of Colossi tech on the map. And TT1 looks like he wants to hit himself a timing. Units tab, pretty good for TT1. A lot of zealots. Blink is, of course, has been done for a little bit of time. You can always blink forward. Looks like he's going to go blink forward, focusing down one of these stalkers. Not going to be able to get it. And now DDE going to force himself to go up into the ramp. Colossi going to come out. No additional Colossi on the map yet for TT1. No second Colossi being started as well for DDE. In fact, opting to go for range instead. And now TT1 not going to overextend. This is a pretty good option for him. I mean, his economy is looking pretty good. He did manage to go ahead and make some more probes. So we're going to have 64 probes here compared to 51. It looks like some zealots here being warped in. Not really going to do too much damage, as TT1 will be able to take care of that pretty easily as he warps in some zealots himself. But the thing is, TT1 has no idea about this 3rd expansion from DDE. If you look just strictly at his vision, he just thinks that DDE is on 2 base. And if DDE gets this expansion mining for a lot longer, it's going to be very hard for TT1 to kind of scout it out and really do damage to it. But his supply advantage, pretty healthy. 150 supply compared to 121. He's a little bit of supply blocked. No upgrade still has been started for either player. Okay, now we're going to see there's +1 weapons. That's going to finish for DDE. TT1's going to have +1 armor as well as his +1 levels. So he's going to have an upgrade advantage if he can hold up enough time to go ahead and get that going. But this probe, this pylon, a little bit annoying here for TT1 to deal with. He's going to go ahead and spot it out, so he doesn't want to have any kind of additional reinforcements or warp-ins that can be pretty annoying to deal with. But, okay, so TT1's playing a really interesting style. I mean, in the PvP matchup, even back to Wings of Liberty, just to give you guys a little bit more of a perspective, you just went Colossi. That's kind of the thing you went. You can go Phoenix, you can go Blink, you can go Immortals, you can go a lot of different compositions. But the thing that it really came down to was who had more Colossi and who had the upgrades and the better positioning with the Colossus. TT1's not showing us that. TT1 just going Zealot, Immortals, Archon, Blink Stalkers. His upgrades are going to be okay. Looks like he's going to go Blink into the main base. And DDE caught a little bit out of position. Going to have to send this army, which is not very mobile. Colossi and Immortals pretty slow. And TT1 just recalls right out of there. So as if nothing even happened. Right into the 3rd. Actually, where are the stock? Okay, so he recalls right into the main. So really nice use of that recall ability, of course, that comes with the Mothership Core. So TT1 now, has a pretty substantial advantage in this game. His supply count is way in his favor, as you see, 182 compared to 159. DDE's army is pretty damn scary himself as well. We see +1 weapons has finished. +2 is about to finish here very shortly. Double robotics facility, consistently being chrono boosted here, trying to get as many Colossi on the map as quickly as possible to defend any kind of timing here from TT1. And TT1 is looking like he's going to go ahead and move across the map. Temple Archives on its way for DDE. But what can he really do to deal with this? And the thing about this Colossi composition, if you don't have a lot of Zealots to deal with the Zealots of your opponent, it's going to be very hard. It is nearly impossible to micro your Colossi strictly against charge lots. And the upgrades that TT1 have are going to make his charge lots a lot more stronger. But is TT1 going to spot this? Okay, he's going to spot this expansion. And DDE immediately has to respond to this attack from TT1. He's just going to go ahead and pull across the map. Try to do some scouting, or even just try to catch this army composition out of position here for TT1. But that expansion, not really going to be mined anymore. And now DDE is kind of put in a position where he has to go for an all-in. Or he can expand, which is what he's doing. But he kind of has to attack, because that expansion was very important for him. That was his 3rd, and it was a hidden 3rd. So if his 3rd just dies, He's stuck on 2 bases while TT1 is going to even try to tech towards a 4th. And DDE scouts it, so he knows exactly what's going on. And here comes the attack. It looks like DDE wants to go ahead and posture up. Zealots in the front. Charge is not done for DDE. And this is going to be a pretty close battle as we see some Void Rays here being mixed in. Not a lot of Stalkers at all here for DDE. And TT1 might actually just win against this. The fact that he went for this Void Ray play against no kind of Stalkers here from DDE might just win him this game. Looks like DDE going to go ahead and recall right out of there. Tells himself, all right, man, you have some Void Rays. My Colossi and Zealots cannot attack air, so let's just recall the hell out of there. And that's exactly what DDE does. This is actually shaping out to be a pretty sick PvP. I'm gonna have to say. But TT1 has a really large advantage. I think he's gonna go ahead and even tell himself, all right, DDE, you're mining off of 2 base. This is basically gonna be your new 3rd. You don't really have anything to do with my Void Rays, and here we go. We're gonna have an attack coming in. Not the best angle here for TT1 to engage, but some Stalkers being warped in. So DDE playing very reactively, even getting some Archons on the map, telling himself if his opponent's going Void Rays, can't be making more Colossi. Needs to get some anti-air. Be it Stalkers, be it Archons, be it even, you know, Templar. Can't really feedback, but I don't know. Templars are okay, but you generally want to have Archons in the PvP matchup. DDE trying to get a pylon here to do a little bit of harassment here to the 4th of TT1. But TT1's army is very scary, and he's going to go ahead and you know, spread some units out, go for a push. 2-1 upgrades for TT1. Let's look at the upgrades here for DDE. 2-0 for DDE. And TT1 might even do 2-pronged attack. That would be actually really cool. Blinking into the main might even force DDE to send some units here back into the main to deal with these Blink Stalkers as we see them focusing down some probes, focusing down some key buildings. Might even want to focus down at Nexus or even a Warp Gate. But at the same time, TT1 catching his opponent completely out of position as we see some Zealots here marching their way into that frontal expansion of DDE. Not a lot of units here for DDE. It looks like TT1's Void Rays look like they're going to be a lot, and looks like DDE going to try to blink forward to focus down some of these Void Rays. And this actually went in the favor of DDE. The fact that he has this many Archons, the fact that he has this many Stalkers, and we're going to have an engagement. Looks like Archons, Immortals, and Void Rays are going to be the composition here for TT1. Colossi doing a lot of damage. Who's going to come out on top? It looks like there is a lot of Void Rays still remaining. DDE falling down to 105 supply. Void Rays and Archons going to be able to focus down a lot of these Colossi. Of course, Colossi are not going to do anything against the Void Rays, and they're actually going to be able to kill the Stalkers as well. DDE falling down to 79 supply, falling down to 31 Harvesters. Charge lots are going to be the warp in here for TT1. And that's actually, I mean, it may not be a lot of units, but this army, very powerful. The fact that he has this many Voiders against basically no anti-air here from DDE might just be the game winner here, to be honest. TT1 has a 4th. TT1's economy looking pretty good. DDE doesn't really have a lot of army, does not really have a lot of probes to make some army. So, you know, TT1 definitely has a pretty large advantage as we're kind of into the later stages here of the game. Looks like DDE might even just go for another push. Moving across here towards the 4th of TT1 with 5 Stalkers, 4 Colossi, charge lots being worked in. I mean, just look at the supply count. That tells the tale that we have in this game. 146 supply compared to 84 supply. 4th expansion for TT1. TT1 even mixing in some Tempests. And now DDE has to push. But what can he really do against charge lots, Tempests, and Void Rays? Charge lots absolutely killing all of these Colossi very quickly. Good game. It gets called by DDE. And that's going to be it for this cast. TT1 takes out its GoSuDDE in a pretty epic PvP. Of course, DDE is a Terran player, but hey, he played a pretty sick game. So that game's going to go to TT1. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.